Hello guys, welcome to my third episode of Trans-Canada's Bicycle Travel. In this episode, I'm going to tell you guys about the stories from day 7 to day 10, which is from June 28th to July 1st. From day 7 to day 10, I biked from Osoyoos to Creston. On day 7, I biked 125 kilometers from Osoyoos to Grand Forks. This day is without a doubt one of the hardest and the longest day of my journey around the world. I started the day with a free coffee. When I went to the counter to pay for the coffee, the staff just gave the coffee free for me. She told me that the staffs are allowed to give out 1 or 2 free drinks a day, and I guess she felt bad for me because I stayed there all night because I didn't have any place to sleep. So I thanked her and I brought the coffee to my table. I was enjoying my coffee as the sun was coming up. I left 7-Eleven around 5 in the morning and started biking. Despite the sleepless night, I felt quite okay. The ride was easy for the first 5 kilometers, and then as soon as I crossed the bridge out of the town, it turned into hell. Steep hill started, and right away I knew that I cannot pedal anymore. I tried, but it just took too much energy and too much effort. It was just easier to push the bike. I pushed the bike for about half an hour. I still had a long way to the top, and it was still a little bit dark. Whenever I saw a truck coming, I tried to hitchhike. It looked like it would have been just 5-minute ride by car. I didn't just sit there and wait around. I was just pushing the bike while I wait, and then whenever I saw a car coming or a truck coming, I stopped and put my thumb up. After a few unsuccessful hitchhiking tries, I decided to give up and after all, I decided to cross the country by bicycle, and I should be able to overcome this. So after about 2 hours of pushing the bike up the hill, I arrived at a lookout point. The view was amazing. I took a moment to commemorate the victory. Then I continued. From then on, I was expecting downhill, since I was already at the lookout points, and usually lookout points are either close to the top or at the top, but the hill just got steeper and steeper, making it even harder to even push the bike. Just that section, I think I stopped maybe more than 100 times. When I was taking a break, I saw an old man riding a road bike going up the hill, and he didn't stop. He was going fast too, and at the time I kind of felt like I was defeated by this old man. I don't know why. I thought maybe because I was young, he's old, but he's riding all the way up the hill, and I said to myself that, well, I can do it if I ride without any stuff and just a road bike. But now that I think about it, maybe I don't think I could have done it. I wasn't physically ready then. Anyways, I think it had been just over an hour or less than an hour. I saw him coming back down. So I thought, oh, a person like him who likes to bike in the morning and this monstrous hill isn't just gonna stop in the middle of the hill and then just come down. He probably reached the top and he's coming down. So I thought, oh, I must be very close to the top. Well, I was very wrong. It was 3 hours later that I could finally get back on my bicycle and start pedaling. After about 10 to 20 minutes pedaling, I saw a sign that says Anarchist Summit, 1,233 meters. Oh my god, no wonder it was so freaking tough. I was actually really excited for 2 reasons. One, that I had reached the summit, and the other, now that I reached the summit, from here on it must be downhill. I was wrong again. For about 15 kilometers, it was just ups and downs and little hills. It looked like it was flat, but it wasn't. When you're traveling on a bicycle with 20 kilograms or a little bit over luggage, you know whether the road is flat or not. After a while, I was finally at downhill. It was short, but it's very steep. I was going as fast as the cars. I think they were going at maybe 30 kilometers per hour. All the way from the beginning of the downhill to the end, I was holding on to my brake. I don't really like those super steep downhills because you can't really enjoy the downhill. You can't really enjoy the speed, and also your hands get really sore. And at the end of the downhill, I arrived at a gas station. I stopped there and bought a 4 liter of water and cooked lunch. It was around noon. It always took more than an hour and a half for me to prepare food and eat and clean and pack again. And I think that's a little bit too long. You're losing too much time of your riding time. So I think when you're traveling, it's better to buy lunch rather than making them yourself, or make lunch in the morning. The gas station was in a place called Rock Creek. From Rock Creek to Greenwood was an easy ride. I think it was pretty much flat, very uneventful, other than seeing a fellow bicycle traveler. But he was on the other side of the road, so I didn't really stop, just waved at each other. From there, all the way to Grand Forks, which is all downhill. I think I didn't have to pedal for like 30-40 minutes just going downhill. At one point, I reached just a little over 60 kilometers per hour, and because I didn't have to pedal, and I closed my eye for like a second or two, and I almost lost my balance. That woke me up. I arrived in Grand Forks around 6:30 p.m. I went to shop, I bought drinks, stuff for dinner and breakfast for the next morning. I was lucky because I was given an entire house to myself. So I did the laundry, shower, dinner, and I think I just went to bed right away. I was just too tired. On day 8, I biked 101 kilometers from Grand Forks to Castlegar. I woke up around 9 a.m. and left the house around 11 a.m. I should have started the day earlier if I wanted to get to Castlegar before the sunset. It was summer, the sun rises early and sets very late. Also, the sun is really strong during the day, so it's better to start the day early and take a break during the hottest time of the day. My host was volunteering at a kids' baseball tournament that day, so he had to leave around 7 a.m. So I had missed him and I couldn't say goodbye. But I left a thank you note, and later he messaged me through Warm Showers that he got the message and I was welcome to come back anytime. And as I was riding on Highway 3, I got a call from a friend, my ex-coworker, and I stopped in the middle of nowhere and talked for like 10 minutes there. I didn't really take many pictures or videos that day. That day I passed 2 summits. They're both pretty high, Bonanza Pass and Paulson Summit. I thought there were 2 separate summits because I saw 2 signs. Later when I did the research, I just found out that they're just the same. It was quite scary when I was crossing the Paulson Bridge. It's 84 meters above the valley. It was a long day and I arrived in Warm Showers host neighborhood in Castlegar around 7:30 p.m. Very late, because most Warm Showers hosts mark their neighborhood on the map but don't post their home address on the profile. Text them or call them once you're around. Richard, my Warm Showers host in Castlegar, welcomed me and showed me around. We talked for hours and he fed me until I couldn't eat anymore. He was one of admin of Warm Showers Facebook page, and he showed me some of pictures of the guests that stopped by. Thought that was cool. I enjoyed talking with him and listening to his stories. Day 9, I biked from Castlegar to Nelson. It was a very short day because I've been riding for 8 days non-stop, and it was just the beginning of my trip and I wasn't trained for this. I was getting really exhausted, so I wanted to take a day off, but I didn't want to not move at all, so I just made this a short day. Said he has a doctor's appointment, but it was in Kelowna, I think. Kelowna, somewhere in BC. It was quite far away from Castlegar, but he said he's gonna bike there. He's gonna make this visit to the doctor a bicycle trip. And that's when I realized you don't really have to travel for weeks or thousands of kilometers to call it a bicycle trip. Church friends came over in the morning before I headed out. We talked a little bit. I only had to ride a short distance that day, so I didn't have to hurry. and I took a picture with Richard and left. I arrived in Nelson around 2 p.m. and I messaged my warm showers host, but he said he wasn't home yet. So just went to a cafe in downtown and had lunch and was just waiting for him. Nelson is a small town but very hilly. Steepness of the hill on the way to warm showers host's house had to be at least 20%. It looked hard enough just to walk. It was less than 400 meters. I was out of breath and all sweaty. When I arrived, my warm showers host Michael and his friends were enjoying beers in the balcony. I pitched my tent in his backyard and I joined them. Mike, he told me that the girl that lives upstairs was moving out that day. So if she moves out early, I can sleep upstairs. But she took her time to move out and I didn't really get a chance to go upstairs. Mike went to my warm showers host. He went to other town to pick up his girlfriend, so he wasn't there. But I was just I talked with his roommates, and that was it for day 9. Very short day. On day 10, I biked from Nelson to Creston, 126 kilometers. It was July 1st, Canada Day. There's 2 ways to go to Creston from Castlegar. One is to go through Nelson and the other is to go through Salmo. If you go through Nelson, you have to take a ferry and cross the Kootenay River. If you decide to go through Nelson, from Nelson you go to Balfour, then take a ferry and cross Kootenay Bay. That's one way, but it's a longer way. The shorter way is to go through Salmo. But if you go through Salmo, you don't have to take a ferry. You can just ride your bicycle all the way to Creston. But I was told that you would have to climb a really steep hill, very high one. And he said it might be the hardest one so far. So I didn't want to go that way. That's why I went to Nelson. And I biked to Balfour and took a ferry. I think I aimed for 9 a.m. ferry. So I left early and went to the Balfour terminal. When I arrived, I had just missed the ferry, so I had to wait. There was a diner there, so I just went there to have breakfast. Got on the Osprey 2000, I believe that's what it's called, the ferry, and crossed the Kootenay Bay. After I crossed the bay, I arrived at Kootenay Bay terminal, and from there almost all the way to Creston, I was just riding along the Kootenay Bay. The view was very good along the bay or the river. It was non-stop ups and down, so I was getting really tired. I think the majority part, I think I pushed the bike when it was uphill, and there were many touristy spots that I wanted to stop by, but I was just too tired to go in there, so I just continued. And I think when I was pushing the bike, a driver went by and saw me. Anyways, when I was 20 kilometers or 30 kilometers away from Creston, I was going uphill pushing the bike, and then a driver stopped, and then she asked me if I was in trouble, and I said no, I'm just tired, so I'm just pushing the bike. She saw me when she was going to this place, and then I was pushing my bike then, and she was on the way back to Creston, and I'm still pushing my bike, so she thought I had a trouble with my bicycle. Anyway, she offered me a ride. I thought I was close to Creston, but I was still far away, and I'm glad I took that offer. She stopped good spots for photos and explained about the geography and stuff, and because I got a lift from her, I arrived in the town too early, because Warm Showers host in Creston, they said they're going to winery that day and they'll be back late, so I didn't want to go to their house right away, so I just asked her to drop me off near Tim Hortons, and I stayed there for about 2 hours to kill time, and then I biked to Warm Shower host's house, and I thought I was very close to the house, but I still had to bike 30 to 40 minutes. Anyways, when I arrived there, there was no one there, and then I saw a chair there, so I just sat there and waited for them. And their friends arrived first, and they were traveling in a caravan, and they said that they bought a used one and they fixed it and been riding it for more than 8 years. Anyways, I was talking to them and they offered me a glass of wine, and we kept talking about traveling, and then my Warm Showers host arrived, and all of her from other friends too. And then she said I can pitch my tent anywhere in the yard, so I pitched my tent far away from the house because they were having a party. So if I pitched my tent too close to the house, it would be too loud. And they were having barbecue and drinks, and they offered me food. It was very nice. And I took a shower, I went to my tent, woke up when the fireworks started. So I guess I went to bed really early and the fireworks started around 8 or 9. They said they were gonna go see the fireworks, and then they asked me if I wanted to come. I was just so tired and I wasn't that interested in So that's it. That's the end of day 10 and end of episode 3. Thank you very much for listening to my story, and hopefully you'll come back for the next one. Thank you. Bye.